So, dear students, I'm here with the second part of your fourth chapter from the diary of Anne Frank. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in, I would better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I disliked doing so. Now, this is what been uttered that she is going to tell about her life in the diary, what she has undergone before and undergoing at that moment, particular moment of the time. She says, "My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister Margot was born in Frankfurt in Germany 1926. I was born on 12th June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. My father immigrated to Holland. Immigrated, emigrate, going out, went out to settle. IMM, that is coming in, immigrated. Both are homophones, but like Excel, inhale, internal, external, immigrate and emigrate. In 1933, my mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September, while Margot and I were sent to Agen. This is Achen, but it is pronounced as Agen, or in German it's Ag, to stay with our grandmother. Margot went to the Holland in December and I followed in February, when I was plucked down to the table as a birthday present of Margot. I started right away at Montessori Nursery. Now this is what important part of the whole chapter, where how she developed the way of writing. Now, I started right away at the Montessori Nursery School. I stayed there until I was 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the 6th form, my teacher was Mrs. Caparis, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said, heartbreaking farewell. Children going for the school is certainly a very somber moment for both teachers as well as for the students. In summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation, so my birthday passed with little celebration. Grandma died in January 1942. No one knows how often I think of her until I still love her, she said. I still love her, and she is being very close to me, and she is still prevalent in my mind, thought. She remembers her, recalls her. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the others. Grandma candles was lit along with the rest. 4 of us are still doing well. That brings me to the present date of 20th June 1942. The solemn and serious dedication to my diary. Now she writes in her diary. This is a piece of it. Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quacking in the boots. Now this is a very nice phrase, quacking in its boots. That means shaking with fear and nervousness. The reason, of course, is forthcoming meeting in which teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets, GN, a short form abbreviation of their names, and I laugh ourselves silly at the 2 boys behind us, CN and Jax, who have staked the entire holiday saving on their bet from Monday to night. It's "You are going to pass? I'm not." "Yes, you are. I'm not." Even the girls' pleading glance and my anger outbursts can't calm them down. This is what you do in the class. Some snub others and some no, laugh at others. If you ask me, there are so many dummies, dumb people, dullards, no, low intelligence, that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. And she says that 1/4 of the class should be kept back. But the teachers are the most unpredictable creature on earth. Like you all believe, no, even I used to believe when I was of your age that all teachers are the most unpredictable creatures of the earth. I'm not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We will make it. We will pass into the next class. The only subject I was not sure about is the maths. She was also scared of maths, as you all are. Anyway, some of you love also. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Keesing and the old Foggy, no, this means the old-fashioned man who teaches maths, Foggy, no, Foggy, Foggy. 2 teachers maths who annoyed with me for ages because I talk so much. Now, this is what the bone of contention between them. She talked a lot and he was disturbed by, and that's why she may be the reason why she lagged behind in mathematics. After several warnings, he assigned extra homework as an essay to write on Chatterbox. You know Chatterbox? Chatterbox, someone who speaks too much and every time. What can you write about that? I would worry about that later. I decided. I jotted down. The title is in my notebook and tucked in my bag and tried to keep it quiet. That evening, after I would finish the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. You know, when you're worried, when you're anxious, you put your pen in your mouth, and she, being an ordinary girl like you all, she wrote it down. It's exactly what she is doing when she is thinking and pondering over. She has kept her fountain pen in her mouth. Anyone would ramble is talk wise aimlessly for long on and leaves back a space between words. But trick was to come up with the convincing argument. Now, this is what all of you, the teenagers' problem, that you want to prove your point. And she was also thinking that line, that I'm talkative, but I talk solid. I talk, right way. A statement made in such a manner that people believe it, convince it. So she is also thinking about that, well, how to convince Mr. Keesing that I'm talking, but I'm not talking uselessly. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Keesing had assigned me, was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait, that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did. If not, that there is not much you can do about inherited traits. And she is saying that I have inherited the qualities you get from your parents. I genetically, gifted with those qualities of talking. Mr. Keesing had a good laugh at my argument, and when I proceeded to talk my way through the next lesson, he assigned me a second essay. This time it was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. What do you mean by the word incorrigible? That is somebody who cannot be amended or cannot correct herself or himself. Somebody who cannot be corrected, or somebody cannot improve upon the qualities. I handed it in. Mr. Keesing had nothing to complain about for 2 whole lessons. However, during the 3rd lesson, he had finally had enough. Anne Frank As punishment for talking in the class, write an essay entitled Quack Quack, said Mistress Chatterbox. The class roared in laughter, and I had laughed too. Yeah, you can see and imagine how she been, scolded, rebuked. Though I was nearly exhausted, her ideas almost finished. My ingenuity, the original thoughts and ideas about thinking on the topic of chatterboxes, her whole substance or matter or subject matter was over till then. It was a time to come up with something else, something original. My friend Sana, this is pronounced as Sana, who is good at poetry, offered me help to write the essay from the beginning to the end in verse. Verse is in the poetry form. You also have written lots of couplets, and that is a verse form of it, and that is poetic form of it. I jumped for joy. Mr. Casing was trying to play a joke on me with this funny subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. She wants to, topple the apple cart. She wants to, instead of making her as a object of laugh, she wants to turn the joke on him, so she wisely plays it. I finished my poem and it was beautiful. It was about the mother duck, father swan, and 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by father because they quacked too much. Likely Mr. Casing took the joke in right way. He read the poem to the class and adding his own comments, and to the several other classes as well. And he liked it so much, she went on to other classes with the poetry of hers in the essay form. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. Now, if even I got this idea of punishing you all for writing essays, yes. On the contrary, Mr. Casing always making joke of these days. Yes, something which you do in the classroom, they become memories forever. Yours, Anna. This is an extract from the Diary of Young Girl, and this is an adaptation of it. I hope you like the story. Before you come up with the other assignment, I want you all to learn the word meanings from the whole chapter and do as many exercises as you can do. Okay, I'll give you assignments. So this is the